Hey 49ers fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Chat Sports, and today, let's take a look at the latest San Francisco 49ers news and rumors. Some really interesting stuff going on in the world of the 49ers this week, and it all surrounds with the idea that San Francisco might not be playing any home games in California this year. As you know, there's kind of a global thing going on right now. I'm sure it's impacted many of you, if not all of you, in some way or another, and we know it might be impacting football going forward. So, this all stems of the quote from the California governor just a couple of days ago, talking about how he does not expect to have mass gatherings, or I guess aka sport gatherings, or gatherings due to sports, during the fall unless there is some changes in what is going on around the country. So the NFL has tried to go ahead and try to get ahead of this by talking to the 49ers, the Chargers, and the Rams about possibly playing their games not in their normal home stadiums, not in the new LA Stadium, which will house the Chargers and the Rams, or the, of course, Levi Stadium, but move them to other NFL locations and have them play their home games there until the season ends or until things change with what all is going on. So the question is, where would the 49ers actually play their games? It's looking like it could be inside the home of a division rival, the Big Toaster in Arizona, with the Arizona Cardinals. So the question then becomes, how can you have two NFL teams play in the same stadium who are in the same division? Does that actually work out scheduling-wise? I mean, you know, the NFL just released their brand new schedule. Well, take a look at the schedule, as Pro Football Focus's Mike Florio did, and it shows that the Cardinals are the perfect home for San Francisco if they're not allowed to play in Levi Stadium. Literally, like, the schedule works out perfectly for the Niners and Cardinals to go ahead and swap home games in terms of you play inside the dome this week, we'll be on the road, and then they play on the dome inside this week, and the 49ers will be on the road. So Florio says this, quote, both teams have home games in Week 9, but the 49ers play on Thursday night, while the Cardinals play on Sunday. And Week 13, the Cardinals play on Sunday, but the 49ers play on Monday night. The two teams never have home games on the same day. It's literally perfect in terms of trying to work things out. Now, I know your next question is, Thomas, that makes it a little bit unfair whenever we play the Cardinals. We play them, obviously, twice a year. And the answer is technically yes. It'll be an unfair advantage for any team was to go ahead and play the 49ers because, as we know, the population of San Francisco fans is greatest where San Francisco is located. Even though, you know, fans are global in the National Football League, there'll be plenty of 49er fans going to Arizona or living in Arizona who would go to the football games. But every single home Niner game would be that much less of a competitive advantage because the fans would not be completely stacked in terms of 90% Niner fans or 85% Niner fans and then 15% of the other fans of the other team. Is it a massive deal? No, I think most NFL teams understand that fans are a part of them winning football games, but not the only reason why they win football games, and plenty of teams win on the road, so it's not that big of a deal. The big deal is that this could be a real possibility, and if it has to be, it works out really, really well overall. Now, before I show you Richard Sherman's thoughts on this, because Sherman commented on the whole maybe not playing at Levi Stadium, this video is sponsored by Manscaped, and we have a deal for you guys here in terms of, 20% off whenever you go to manscaped.com and use our promo code 49ers20. So literally go to manscaped.com, check out all of their products. Like the lawnmower, they have the deodorant for down south, which is one of my favorite products that they've sent me. You can get all of that, put it in your cart, go to order, and then put the promo code in 49ers20, and you get 20% off and free shipping as well. It's an incredible deal. I encourage you guys to go ahead and jump on that deal. Big sponsor with our with these 49er videos, and we love having them as a part of it. They send all of the hosts here at Chat Sports a box with all the different products in there. It's fantastic. Trust me, again, 49ers20 is your promo code. So here's what Richard Sherman had to say in terms of the tweet. Now I gotta actually pull the tweet up on my screen, but you guys see it up there on your screen. So Sherman, of course, he's active on Twitter, and he's always trying to give his take on what is going on. So he says, in the quote, interesting, ... If there are no fans either way, wouldn't mind saving 13%. So, of course, he's talking about California taxes, which, of course, Richard Sherman and a lot of NFL players would rather not pay due to their massive salaries. So Sherman says, interesting. I guess you could play in front of no fans as a possibility, but if you did go on the road, you could be playing in front of a smaller Arizona crowd. Either way, the interesting part of all this is not how many fans will be in the stands. It is if there will be football played, and if so, will the Niners be able to play at Levi Stadium or not? If they can't, the whole point of this is to show that the option is obviously the Arizona Cardinals Stadium, which, because there are a lot worse stadiums. And inside a dome, right, in case it weather gets bad, there's no rain. I mean, the domes are pretty nice to play in overall, and the Cardinals have a nice one there, the Big Toaster down in Arizona. The other teams, of course, quickly, that could be playing in other stadiums. You have the Raiders probably sharing a stadium with the Chargers. The Rams could be going possibly to the Cowboys Stadium, and so all those California teams could be moving around in terms of getting out of California to be able to play in the upcoming NFL season. Okay, question for you guys. Do you guys think, based on this and based on everything else going on, and the answer to this is no one really knows, but I want to ask, will the 49ers play a home game in Levi Stadium this year? Will they play in Levi Stadium, in their home city, in their home turf this season? Type Y down below for yes, type N down below for no. All right, moving on. So, Kyle Shanahan was asked by The Athletic, or I think it was an interview with The Athletic, I believe that is correct. Basically, a ton of questions regarding the 49ers offseason, and the ones that stood out to me are the ones we're going to talk about, and that has to do with the 49ers roster, and now the Niners might be done making moves, and this is the roster you're going to have going into the 2020 NFL season. So the 49ers right now have about $6 million in free cap space. It's like 5.9 something. It's not a lot. They technically are not over the cap, but they are barely under with about $5 million, about $6 million in free cap space. Now, they still need to extend George Kittle. They have the future cap space to do so don't see $6 million and go, oh, we can't afford Kittle. You still can, but that's the next big priority. But GM John Lynch says, based on this, this roster's done, and the roster is not going to have any big changes going into the 2020 season. At least according to what he sees, and what I see as well, is there are very few holes on this roster. Before we get into what John Lynch said, I'm like 15 followers away from 2,000 followers on Twitter, at Real Thomas Mott. Many of you guys follow me there. Many of you guys DM me there. You comment on stuff. I do a ton of 49er stuff up there. So if you have not followed me on Twitter, how about help a brother out and get me to 2,000 follows here by going ahead and going to click over on Twitter, at Real Thomas Mott. Links in the description. Click the follow button, and you'll follow me for great content. Also, DM me Niner questions. I answer almost every single DM that I get. So just going to throw that out there. You know, if you want to help me get 2,000 followers, that would be greatly appreciated. So here's John Lynch on the current 49ers cap space. Quote, there's always an opportunity to get better. We do like where our roster is at. We're extremely happy with where it's at. I don't anticipate anything big coming, and we are kind of nudged up against the cap as well. There's really not a lot of room to go get, to go do things like that. For a good reason. We have a lot of really good players, and we're extremely excited about this. It is for good reason, because the 49ers do have a lot of great players. The 49ers can be done and should be done because there are no other holes on this roster that I think can be filled right now based on available free agents, or should be filled right now based on available free agents as well. Look at some of the big free agents that have been tied to the 49ers the past couple of weeks, and you go, okay, Delaney Walker, Jordan Reed, two tight ends to kind of be the number 2 tight end behind George Kittle. I think the 49ers are very happy with what Ross Dwelley is possibly going to blossom into, so not a massive need there. Griffin could be another pass rusher if you don't trust the aging of D Ford, but Griffin, again, is an aging pass rusher himself and would probably want a little bit more than the Niners could offer. And then if you really wanted to upgrade one position, it's probably the cornerback spot, so you go for a guy like Logan Ryan, but Logan Ryan is going to want $8 to $9 to $10 million per year. So in terms of Lynch being happy with where they're at, because he does a very good job in terms of trades, in terms of free agent signings, and in terms of the draft the past couple of years. Great football teams get nudged up against the cap and can't have any wiggle room because they have great players. A lot of teams have no wiggle room and no good players. The Niners have been able to have both. They have great players and no wiggle room, and that to me is the perfect combination for the 49ers, and why 49ers are going to be one of the better football teams in the National Football League in 2020. It's just inevitable, right? Are you guys happy with the 49ers roster? If you could change anything, let me know, but if you're happy about the 49ers roster, and you should be, type 1 down below for yes, type 2 down below for no. I'm curious what you guys think about the 49ers roster. Okay, final little story here, and it has to do with Trent Williams and his injury concerns, which we've talked about Trent Williams and the trade the 49ers did after the news that Joe Staley came out and he was going to retire. The Niners said, oh no, we need a left tackle, and they traded for veteran left tackle Trent Williams from the Washington Redskins. Didn't give up much. It was a beautiful trade, and everyone was like, oh my goodness, John Lynch did it again. Well, there might have been a reason as to why he was able to be had for so little. It's because of the injury concerns. Now, I think Trent Williams is hungry to play. I think he's going to be a great addition. And I want you guys to go ahead and grade the Trent Williams addition right now. I think it's still an A, despite what I'm going to tell you guys here in terms of what The Athletic has to say about his injury concerns. But grade the Trent Williams trade overall, A, B, C, D, or F. I think it's easily an A, at worst a B+. But the problem with Trent Williams and why I think he was traded for so little and why Washington finally said, you know, just get him out of here, it's not just because he cost a lot of money, it's because he's not been healthy the past couple of seasons. The Athletic said this, quote, it's the only concern I'd have with him, that being Trent Williams, but it's a significant one. He's only played a full 16-game season twice in his whole NFL career, and the last time he did that was in 2013. He's been someone that has tended to get hurt and miss a few games every year, but he's always did his best to play through the pain when he could. Like in 2017, he played multiple weeks with a dislocated kneecap that he knew would require surgery to fix. So, two ends of the spectrum here. One, he gets injured a lot, but two, he plays through a lot of injuries and ends up only missing a couple of games for injuries that could, and technically should, make him miss even more. Now, I'm going to talk about how many games he's actually missed. Well, look at it on the screen right now. 2019, the whole injury dispute with the Washington Redskins, 0 games. He hadn't played a game since 2018. 2018, he played 13. 2017, he played 10. And 2016, he played 12 games overall. Now, is that a major concern? You could see why it would be, but at the same time, as long as this is not, he plays 10 games, then gets hurt and doesn't play the rest of the season, so he's not available for the playoffs, then I think it's going to be okay. A lot of times, left tackles in the National Football League will get hurt. They'll miss a couple of games, and then they'll come back. Listen, they're big guys with massive bodies, huge limbs, and they're trying to move at very, very quick paces for a guy of that size, and so they get dinged up. They get nicked, and they have to have little breaks, I guess you could say, week in and week out. That way they can stay healthy later on in the National Football League. We saw with Joe Staley last year. Staley got nicked up early on and was able to come back later on in the year and play through the postseason. That's when you need Trent Williams, and that's what I hope Trent Williams is going to go ahead and bring the 49ers, as I still really like the move. And if you didn't, still, you see this and you go, man, I'm not sure, Trent Williams, he's going to be injured a lot. Well, if you want to ask Nick Bosa what he thinks about Trent Williams, Bosa, one of the best young pass rushers in the National Football League, he's already put on the tape about Trent Williams and had this to say about the guy, quote, he's a really good athlete. The biggest thing that stands out is his athleticism and his feet. He's able to recover so quickly. I saw a rep where somebody spun on him, and he's got beat, but was able to rebound because he has feet like a receiver. Bosa would go on in his media interview, talk about how he already asked for film on Trent Williams. That way he doesn't get embarrassed, doesn't get outplayed whenever the 49ers get to training camp. And of course, Bosa and Trent Williams will go one-on-one many, many times to get ready for the 2020 NFL season. There you go. A lot of very interesting news today here on the 49ers Report. Obviously, 49ers, are they going to play on the road? Could they be playing, not at Levi Stadium? John Lynch, trades, signings, it seems like it's done for the 49ers, but for good reason. And then, of course, Trent Williams, a great trade, a cheap trade, should be a helpful trade, but injury concerns are there. I wanted to give you guys those. That way you're ready to go, as we always do here for the 2020 NFL season. All the time we have for today. We have great stuff coming up the next couple of days here in the 49ers Report. I've seen the schedule this week. It's going to be good, so just hang out, subscribe. That way you guys are notified whenever we're going to go ahead and jump on here. That's all the time we have for today on the 49ers Report. I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. For the rest of your day.